Okay, everything should be set up now. Should be working. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Picking up on chapter 4 of Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. Once again, I'd like to remind all of you that I do not own the rights to this book. I did not write this book. I am not pretending like I do. Please bear with me, and we'll go on this journey together. I have to get away. Oh, I have to get away from Halloween Town. Away from everyone. My mind hisses with overcrowded thoughts like poison bubbling over, left to simmer too long on a crackling fire. I wanted this, didn't I? To marry Jack. But I never truly wanted to be queen. I was happy to remain a rag doll, imperfect, broken, in place. Hair straightened as a hair straight as a board and dry as a bone. A girl unchanged. But that's not true either. I have never content. I have never content in my life before Jack. I was never content in my life before Jack. Never satisfied to remain trapped in Dr. Finkelstein's lab. There we go. Never liked the idea of being built, molded, sewn together by a mad scientist in a cold, damp lab. There we go. Sewn together by a mad scientist in a cold, damp lab on a dark, rainy, drenched night. I wanted something else, something more than the life I was given. But now I'm queen, and it feels like there's are pieces missing between my two lives. Seems not properly folded together. Jagged and knotted. Oh, so basically everything I've ever sewn back together myself? The hell? Night lies heavily on Halloween Town, and I make my way quickly along. What the hell? Make my way along the outer edge of town, through the long, sinister shadows until I reach the cemetery. Zero appears in the doorway to his small tombstone doghouse. Eyes black as midnight, ears raised, he zips after me, nose glowing golden orange in the darkness, and together we cross over the narrow stone bridge, leaving Halloween Town behind, and pass into the starless gloom of the forest. I need to be quiet. I need the quiet of the woods, the cold night air to fold myself over, air to fold itself over me and make me feel safe, shrouded, sheltered, invisible. Only a rag doll nothing more. Mm, hmm. Yeah, but Sally, like you said it yourself, you married Jack. You knew this was going to happen. Like, it kind of just comes with the territory. You can't just marry a king and not become queen. That's not how this works, honey. I'm sorry. Dr. Finkelstein used to call me a foolish dreamer. He said I spent too much time in the garden or peering up at the night stars. A girl who lives inside her own head. Isn't that just everybody, though? I know that my life would change when I married Jack, though it wouldn't be a simple elf princess and her frog prince kind of fairy tale, but I hadn't imagined this. That I would finally be free of Dr. Finkelstein, but still not feeling like myself. A girl whose live bleh, girl whose life had always been decided for her, and would discover the same dark prison walls once she became queen. And I wonder, do other queens and princesses and duchesses feel as I do? In other realms, other times, have they peered at their reflection in ponds and warm bath water and magic mirrors and wondered who they've become? Yeah, honey. it's You're not the first one to go through that. Go read Queen Elizabeth's manifesto. That chick had everything thrown on her. Was it Victoria? It's Queen Victoria, I think. How they lost the girl they've once were. Certainly certain that they would not certain that they are more than a puppet, strings yoked this way and that pulling them apart. Huh. Okay, that's yeah. Does Ruby Valentino catch sight of herself in a shop window from time to time and not recognizing the woman staring back? You still think I'm the same girl, don't you, Zero? I ask as we made our way deeper into the woods under the cover of the starless and stirring under the cover of the starlight and swaying bare branches. Hmm. Zero's nose glows brighter, and I run a hand along his pale, ghostly body. He is both solid and made of a cold winter air, and sometimes I swear I can feel his ears beneath my palm, while other times my fingers pass right through. He is both here and not here, alive and dead, and now he feels like my only friend, the only one who thinks I'm unchanged, made of the same linen and blue thread. Everyone else in Halloween Town seems to think I am someone entirely new. A girl with a royal title whose hair should be like the silky thread of a spider's web with coffin straightened posture and a crown of feathers atop her head, but I am not those things. The leafless branches of the forest The leafless branches of the forest cast long vertebra shadows across the ground, and I tear away the black often fabric pinned over my patchwork dress, leaving it in a hump behind me. I rip off the crown and toss it into a thorn bush. Okay. There it snags on a branch, hanging there like tinsel on a tree. With Zero zipping along beside me, I break into a run, wanting to feel the cold night wind against my patchwork seams, needing to feel the distance between myself and the town. The sky is sparkled like needle pricks of starlight, and even though the moon is hiding behind a low layer of clouds, I know the path ahead through the trees. I follow it down a low gully, then up to the other side where the branches hang and stoop like old cobwebs after the rain. The wind turns cold, and at last I arrive in the grove of the 7 holiday trees, the place where Jack and I stepped through the heart-carved tree into Valentine's Town. As for my legs, has led me here without real purpose. Well, you can't run away from your problems forever there, Sally. Zero hovers nervously behind me, looking back down the path the way we came. He doesn't like it here in the dark of the trees, so far from town, but I walk into the center of the grove, running my palm down the tree of each down the trunk of each of the trees, feeling their carved bark made smooth by each symbol. A green four-leaf clover, an egg decorated in hues of pink and blue. I stop at the rose red heart, the entrance to Valentine's Town. I could open the doorway and slip back into its realm. I could escape for a day or two, pretend I am someone else. Maybe I could even find Ruby Valentino, tell her that I'm not sure I want to be queen, that I don't even know how, and she will offer up some advice to calm this ache in my chest. This nagging pro, prodling sense that perhaps I am living the wrong life. Maybe I don't belong in either place, in either life, a girl in Dr. Finkelstein's lab or a queen. I touch the shiny golden doorknob, already smelling the sugary sweetness. that hints of caramel and rose petals when Zero lets out a quick, high-pitched bark. I drop my hand, turning, but he's nowhere in sight. The wind sails along the branches, and the bark and he barks again, somewhere beyond the grove of the trees, deeper into the woods. I follow the sound across a barren stream, through dead autumn leaves around where no path mark path marks the way, into a place of the forest where I've never been, a darkened place, a quieter place. Where even the shadows have no shape, where even the crows don't dare roost, only darkness lives here, and in the eerie calm and quiet of those bare trees. Certainly will be the devil of you, or the death, whichever comes first, Dr. Finkelstein told me once. Even it was a warning to keep my restless mind from wandering into places it does not belong, to stay quiet and stay still, but I was never good at it either. Zero barks again, and excited yep, like he's found a freshly rotten bone, and I step around the thicket of thorn vines, but when I spot him, it's not a bone or a chorus? Chorus? He's standing over his facing a clot of bramble and briar. Nothing that seems like bleh, nothing that seems like anything, nothing out of place. Come on, Zero, I call out, petting my leg, but he begins tugging at the interwoven vines, biting at the long dead bramble and yanking them back. I step closer, squinting through the dark, wishing I'd brought a candle. And then, at last, through the strange, formless shadows, I see it. A tree. Oh, yeah. No spoilers. No spoilers. But not just any spinning tree. Something is carved onto the trunk. A smooth, purpose etching, just like the just like the seven trees in the grove. I began yanking away at the last of the briar thorns, snagging at my linen flesh and my bare legs, pulling at my seams. But I keep going. I need to see. I need to know for sure. And when enough of the choking vines have been torn away, I blink, refocusing to be sure it's real. A blue crescent moon has been carved into the rough, worn surface of the bark. It's a tree like the others, a doorway, an entrance to another town. The doorknob is knotted with vines. It hasn't been used for many years, and I have to tug away the dead coils, breaking them and tossing them aside. The sounds of snapping wood echo through the forest while Zero hovers beside me, ears raised, anxious to see what we've uncovered. Okay, I want to stop right there. Where the heck is Jack? Like, I don't want to be that guy. Where the heck is Jack? I refuse to believe he's just going to let his wife run off into the middle of nowhere and he's not going to come chasing after her. Also, if that one flower died as she was leaving Valentine's Town, does that mean Zero will die if he leaves Halloween Town? But we see him in the human world in the movie. Okay, I'm getting off topic. Once the edge of the door has been exposed, brimming with green scatter at my feet. I take in a deep breath and reach for the doorknob, pulling the door slowly open. In an instant, the wind catches the hovel-shaped door. A sudden gust, as if by magic or malediction, and flinging it wide. I stagger back, gripping once of the vines to keep my balance before pitching headlong into the thorny tiger's eye brush. Blinking, I sweep the hair back from my face and peer into the dark carving of the open doorway. Zero zips close, whimpering, sniffing the strange unknown tree. The doorway smells of lavender and freshly brewed caramel tea, and my ragdoll eyes flutter suddenly heavy, like silver coins placed onto the eyelids of the dead. I feel the soft, dreamy tug of the gentle wind, easy and quiet, like bedding down in a gnarl of moss, or sinking into a cellar without sound. How easily I could trip towards and tumble head fast through the doorway into the hollowed out tree. I blink. I run my fingertips along the edge of the doorway, feeling the roughness of the bark, the dark interval beckoning me in. I swallow, starting to ease my way inside. One leg stepped through, head craned into the hollow, endless darkness. When Zero tugs against my arm, I feel him pulling against me. The low growl from his throat, but my mind is lost to the quiet of the doorway, the hum of the wind in my ears. What is this? I wonder. uh, Classic. What awaits on the other side? Zero bites harder, yanking against my fabric flesh, and I begin to hear the breaking of threads as the seams across my shoulder start to pull apart. Zero, I say softly, my voice slipping through my throat, lost in the dark caravan of the doorway, noiseless and numb, like an echo singing against my skin, but then I feel the sudden pop, pop, pop as the rolls of threads along my shoulder break apart, giving way, and my arm snaps free from my body. I jolt backwards, landing against the hard, cold ground with a thud. For a moment, the sky is a candlescape? Candlescape? Stars sparkling in my eyes. The air gone from my chest, but when I blink, tilting my gaze, I see my loose arm hanging above me, still in Zero's mouth. He looks me strangely, impressively, letting out a soft whimpering sound. Well, I guess after Jack fell through in the movie, Zero's gotten real good at stopping people from doing stupid things. I gather the handful of and dead leaves that have spilled out from my open shoulder onto the ground. Give me 1 second. The curse of being a ragdoll. You could lose your insides easily, but the cold of the forest tickles up my spine. The wind from somewhere deeper in the tree, and I feel a sudden dread of peak of terror. I shouldn't be here in the dark unknown part of the forest, and open half-hidden doorways in front of me. Well, no, duh, honey. Zero barks, his voice muttered by my arms still clamped in his mouth. I reach out for him to retrieve my arm, but he floats just out of reach. Blah, blah, blah. Zero, what are you doing? I stand up awkwardly, then move towards him, but he drifts up and further up the path, as if it's a game, and now I have to catch him. Zero, I call, but he's moving faster now, zipping up the path, darting through the trees. We reach the hinterlands, but Zero keeps going, zigzagging through the bone elms to the edge of the forest. Dry leaves flutter out of my shoulder, leaving a trail behind me as I run. We cross the narrow bridge through the gates into Halloween Town, and it's not until we reach the cemetery when Zero finally drops my arm onto the cold ground. His tongue wags from his mouth, and he makes an excited little yelp, but I shake my head at him. Bad dog, I said softly, not truly meaning it, then slump down beneath Spiral Hill, where Jack and I were married only a day ago. I pull up the blue spool of thread and a sharp needle I always keep in my left pocket of my dress because old seams have a way of popping, threading, unspooling, and you'll never know when you'll need it, and began stitching my arm back into place. It takes longer than usual. Some of the lining has begun to fray along the seams, and I need to gather a few spare dead leaves from the graveyard to fill my shoulder. Socket all the way. It's a little ghoulish thing to lose an arm or any part of yourself, really. To ugh. I just thought about that. Yeah, 'cause uh, that'd be yeah. That's bad. Losing a body part. Any part of yourself, really, to feel disconnected from your body. Not quite whole, and I've always wished Dr. Finkelstein had stuffed my insides with together, something together other than dry, shiver, shivered leaves tossed aside by the trees. Cotton, perhaps, or rose petals, something silky and ladylike. Once I've tied the string yeah, into a knot and broken the end with my teeth, I sink back against the curve of Spiral Hill, the moon full in the sky, the hour well after midnight, and I know I need to go find Jack. I will tell him about the other trees, the secret doorway beyond the hinterland grove, and I will tell him something else, that I can't be queen, the mayor, or the witch sisters and the vampire prince want me to be. I know what they expect of me, a proper wife, a proper pumpkin queen, but none of it feels like me. I will tell Jack about the gnawing aches between my fabric ribs, and he will see in my eyes that I need something to stay the same. He will kiss my cheek, my hand, and tell me that he'll set things right. He'll weave his fingers through mine and promise that nothing will ever have to change, ever. I let my eyes slip close, feeling the cold night air against my overheated skin, and I let myself imagine that Jack and I are back in the little cottage beside the chocolate river, just the two of us. No witch sisters, no All Hallows Eve party to plan, only the silence of his breathing in my ear, only the quiet, 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 and nothing else, nothing at all. And that is the end of chapter 4. I want to thank all of you for participating. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, sorry I'm a terrible reader. Please like, share, subscribe, do all the fun YouTube stuff. It really does help my channel grow, and I really do appreciate it.